Welcome, welcome, El Paso. How is everybody this Wednesday morning? I'm super excited to have Eric and Deanna here from eXp Realty. Not only that, these are my sponsors. These are my sponsors, and they are from Albuquerque, New Mexico. They are killing the real estate industry over there in Albuquerque, and I'm super excited to have you guys because we need to regroup. We need to talk about business. We need to talk about how we are able to tell everybody how it is to work as a husband and wife team. And not only that, how we've made it through the COVID. How did we make it through the COVID, not being able to come to our offices and having to not only do business together, but live togetwer? Talk to us.
Yeah.
The world
and quarantine together.
We're barely getting our hair, can get haircuts and do the right things, and it's just been crazy. Tell us how it's been for you guys.
Well, it's been kind of crazy. One of the cool things, we were already virtual to a degree because of eXp. So we really, outside of about 30 days when it first started in March, we really didn't see a slowdown. The market here is crazy. Deanna did a lot of virtual listing appointments with video cameras. And then we would go out and install a sign, get pictures, do the proper social distancing things. We're on track to have our best year ever, even with that little bit of a slowdown in the end of March, first part of April.
It's amazing.
Kudos.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, I agree to that, how the business is. How's the market in Albuquerque? Are you guys literally, I'm pretty sure you are going through what we're going through, where we're thinking we're getting this bomb, deal, and at the end we're not. We're talking about going twice over asking price, and we're kind of losing it. We're like, how's the market?
We're experiencing that. We have a huge inventory crisis here. We're typically anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 homes on the market at any given time. And I think on Monday morning when I logged in, we were at 1,500 homes. So inventory's tight. It's not that we're not selling. It's just they're selling in hours. And we had a deal that we went under contract in one of our listings, about 2 weeks ago, and the buyer's agent was almost in tears when her buyer got it because it was the 20th offer she had submitted. Wow. And it's fiercely competitive in certain price ranges here. Other price ranges, it's a pretty balanced market, but it's changed things a lot. You definitely want to be a listing agent right now because it's frustrating.
You do want to be a listing agent. And like I was telling Edgar, one of our coaches that we got from eXp that was referred to us said that she used to work in Beverly Hills. And we told her about what we're going through. And she said, welcome, this is what I've always had to deal with is a multiple offer situation. And I'm like, I would not be able to be in a market like that. Because it's pretty tough when you have to let down your buyers and say, and I'm not used to it, like, oh, we didn't win. There was 20 plus offers on the table. So
I think our most was 12.
We had the Steve M one at 17.
Oh yeah, 17 offers and win. But the other thing is we're facing a lot of having to change the mindset of our buyers to being prepared to cover almost all of the costs, being prepared to go over list price, and also, preparing our sellers what to do when it doesn't appraise. That's been some of the complexities. And for the first time ever in my career, we have had buyers having to come to the table and willing to come to the table with significant shortfall on the appraisal. I think our most was 17,000. Mm-hmm. The buyer made up the difference. And that was unheard of in our marketplace. We heard all the stories about Denver a year or so ago. Now we're seeing that. And so that's been a big change. But other than that, COVID and the market we've been pretty good, even with some of our rules for open houses and working with showings.
So, showings, masks, hand sanitizer wipes, things of that nature. Yeah. We sold a house. I sold one to a client who I have yet to meet. In person.
Everything was virtual.
Everything was virtual. They had a young baby. They were virtual. COVID happened. I showed them like 8 homes virtually through FaceTime and Facebook phone. And they found a house, tape measure, the whole 9 yards. They did all the documents. They went to closing, closed in their car. Closed in their car. They brought them that thing highlighted, closed in their car. Keys were left under a mat. I've only seen them on video. I still haven't met them, and they've been in Albuquerque 5 months now. It's crazy.
I could say it's a virtual world. It's just a virtual world, and we see a huge increase of people shopping online, how to find their real estate agents, properties, and so forth. So that we could like kind of backtrack on, now we know how our markets are super similar, probably all over the States, is let's go reverse a little bit back. And how did we meet, Eric and Deanna?
We met through a referral. Somebody referred us for one of your clients in Albuquerque who ended up buying in Santa Fe, but we just started having a conversation. We had similar histories of where we had come from. And I mean, I think your question, Jackie, was why?
Why EXP?
It was why EXP? And I just kind of went, well, this, and then the 4 of us jumped on a call, and 2 weeks later, you're in Vegas with us.
Oh, do we miss Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Never miss Vegas. We never.
It was a work trip. It was a work trip.
It was EXP Con. It was a work trip, and to experience, and that was our first EXP Con too. But I mean, take a look at, we're a virtual company. Yep. I mean, it meets our mindsets, all 4 of us. It meets our mindsets and how we work. And I think the coolest part outside of, there's a lot of cool things, especially if you look at the New York Stock Exchange ticker in the last couple of weeks. That's always a good bonus. But the willingness for folks to share and grow your business even after you've capped, even after you're successful agents. I mean, I still tell the story about Andrew spending an hour and a half with us, and I know he was an amazing man, but I didn't know he was the #1 dude in EXP.
Right.
You know what? We didn't either until after, and we're like, that guy sat with us for an hour and a half. That I will take that with a grain of salt. It's amazing. And what had happened, and what I want to really, really emphasize is that Edgar and I have been a husband and wife team. Mm-hmm. So when I met Eric to refer my New Mexico client to him in Albuquerque, he had told me he was a husband and wife team too. And I was like, really? You're a husband and wife team? So it's really hard to meet, well, not hard to meet husband and wife teams, because you were with Keller Williams. I was with Keller Williams for a while, and there were husband and wife teams. But it was just a little bit more difficult to reach out and talk to them and get advice from them. So
how to survive real estate together?
Married couples have to stay together no matter what. But now that you guys, well, there's quite a bit of husband and wife teams out there. What do you have for the husband and wife teams out there that are watching now? And how did you guys start your business together? How did Eric come on board? And then I want to share how Edgar came on board.
Well, I got my license because I can't shut up. I was either told to shut up or get my license because
well, you were giving lots of advice.
So I was giving advice, and I was practicing, could be potentially practicing real estate, because I would go to all our open houses with our youngest son, who was our junior assistant. So we did a lot of it when she started on the weekends as family, because Deanna built her business on open houses. She would do 3 to 4 open houses every weekend. So we'd make it family time. So I was licensed in 2010 while I was still on active duty with the United States Air Force. Did not go full time until 14. I think the biggest thing of how we are successful, and it took us a long time to get to this, is a strict, we try, and I'm the guilty party here, is a strict delineation of roles. Yeah. And I cross that line quite a bit, and I get smacked. Not really, but But I think that is the big set. We like each other. We're up 24/7, and I'm pretty much the dude on the street, with buyers and listings and things of that nature. Deanna still goes out with clients. but it's nice to have that yin and yang and pair up with their clients as well, like we do with lenders and other folks.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that, because that's exactly very, very similar background. I mean, obviously I was doing medical device, doing other sales jobs here in my past history while Jackie was building up the business and trying to make things right on the real estate side. It was kind of said, yeah, do your own thing. I didn't quite really understand what she was doing, but one thing that I always did was support her on it. And when the time came that I needed a change, I wanted to, do something completely different. She started saying, hey, why don't you help me grow this business, right? And I said, well, what does that mean? What does that take? And then I wanted to overstep this and overstep, very similar to what Eric was saying here. So finally she advised, why don't you get licensed and help me build this sucker together. And that's why, we definitely wanted to get you guys on board on today's show and on the call, just so that we can kind of share some of our experiences, because a lot of people, I don't know if you guys have made it to El Paso, but we do have quite a bit of billboards up there, and we're all happy, lucky. I'll tell you about this one back here, and it's very, everybody's like, hey, you guys seem very genuine, and we are genuine, right? But not every day goes that way, and there's times where Jackie always kids around when she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm out taking lock boxes off the houses." She knows that that's my key phrase for I need to get away from you as fast as I can. and
he makes things up. I'm like, what?
But you need to play up your game a little more. He just tells me he's stopping by the brewery for a beer, and I know he's doing okay. But he's lead generating. He gets more business at the brewery than any man I know.
That's how we do it. I just get upset that he goes to the brewery without me.
And I think for me, to be brutally honest, for me, I joined the business. It was her business. And it took me a lot of time to get a mind shift of it's not her business, it's our business. And that was really difficult for me. And in the last 2 years, 18 months, I've seen that mental shift. I'm like, I don't know, it's your business. She's like, stop it.
I actually need your input. It's not, you don't work for me, you work with me.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that would be the biggest piece of advice is define roles and taking ownership, equally taking ownership.
So what do you guys mostly like? How does your daily business look then, Deanna? Like what do you have Eric do? Like, what's his role? Is he like a strict buyer's agent? Is he aside from home?
Well, I guess it'd be easier to explain what I do. I run the ops side of the business, and I run all the, I guess you'd say, the serious contract writing and the big problem solving. So I spend a lot of my time here in the office. I run our team. I run our 2 VAs and our buyer's agents that are on the team. And he's out in the field. So, I usually start my morning off about a 45 minutes before he does, open up the mail, see what's going on, that kind of stuff. And he has a whole game plan for the whole day. It's usually, appointment to appointment, buyers, showing houses. Maybe it might be out in the field with the listing. A lot of times we'll do listing appointments together. But then he works the prep with the contractors and everything. I take over for the minute it's, from contract to close. I run that whole piece along with the marketing.
Excuse us. I have a puppy dog that is ringing the bell. Hang on.
Is he
we do have a bell on our back door because we get so intense into our business that we don't let him out. So we wouldn't let the dog out. But it is kind of, he's more boots on the ground, whereas I'm the anchor. And every once in a while, when we talks about how we kind of cross over into each other's worlds, we actually had one this morning, honey. I need to let you know you're answering my email again by accident. and our VA is like, well, you already did that this morning. I'm like, no, I didn't. They're like, yeah, you did. But that's okay. It's people get a 2-for-1 with us. We're definitely both watching the business.
I'm probably in the office half a week and out of the office the other half. I'll work with ORWs, getting the listing, all the scheduling for pictures and inspections and stuff like that is done in the office. We're using the VAs and things of that nature. I'll write the contract, but once we go into contract, then it's turned over to Deanna. but sometimes I still work with the client. It's not a hands off. It's probably a 75 her, 25 me. But most of mine is phone calls. It's not the paperwork involved.
Yeah.
Got it. So husband and wife teams that are starting like their business, don't know where to start, like what roles to put each other in, what would be your best advice like for that?
You got to go with each other's strengths. When they, and you know, in our former brokerage, we did a lot with, you know, personality profiles, DISC assessments, those kind of things, which are helpful. You know, but the bottom line in real estate, you may be a people person, but you are going to have to deal with paperwork. You may be a paperwork person, or you're going to actually have to talk to people. So you gotta get past those breakdowns, but always know where your strengths are on the team. And divide your roles that way. We know a few other husband and wife teams where she's the one she's out there, she's the people person, she's doing everything, you know, the live videos, showing the houses, and it's like you don't even know that he's around because he's just in that office, you know, grinding all day. And so it all depends whose the strengths are. And just being honest with each other. There's a great, I'm trying to think, what was the name of
that book? I know. I was thinking that same thing.
There's a great book where you talk about who's the visionary and who's the implementer. Know who that is. We cross over on those roles a little bit. You know.
Well, and I think one of the things we did 18 months ago is we have two 4x6 whiteboards in our office, and we went in on a Saturday. And we just sat down there and put everything that we could possibly do in the business. It was kind of funny. My box was about that big. Hers was like that.
Oh my God.
We white, and that's something that you can do if you're going to be a husband and wife team. Whiteboard who the responsibility really falls on, and then have a discussion of who's really better to be doing it. Because if you don't find that balance, you will eventually start to either butt heads or be disenchanted with the arrangement.
Well, and one of our coaches, we had an assignment to delineate our roles, and then gave each other permission to hold each other accountable on what we were responsible for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In a business environment, and it stayed at the office to the degree. Well,
it had to stay at the office. I had to stay at the office, any disagreement, but you know, that was a big piece of it. But I mean, we've kind of complicated a little bit more by expanding it into a family business.
Yeah.
And I think you guys you're moving into that same path.
You're kind of just almost identical as to you guys. So that's why Eric and Deanna is just perfect for us to get, because a lot of people have asked, like, how do you guys do it? And I'm like, let's grab a few more married couples and let's just see how we can like be helpful to others. So
I think one of my roles is being flexible, because I could be headed home and she'd be like, by the way, we got a gas leak at Truman. Guess where you're going? Okay.
That's all familiar.
Yeah. Well, and also I think we're blessed, even before we went into business together, we actually like each other. And some couples struggle a little bit more having a cohesive marriage. We were blessed in that we just had it, and it never really, except for a few issues, when it was like, this is your business, once we got past that, I think we were fine, but that we're blessed in that sense. And I think you guys are the same way. It's just, you knew it was right. It's natural. It's easy for us. And that made it easier to actually be in business and have to be around each other 24/7. And
the other thing is surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, i.e. you and Edgar, and other like there's a couple out of Oklahoma City that is like-minded with us. They're KW. I've had conversations with them. They're amazing as well. And I think in Phoenix, we have husband and wife partners in Seattle. And, being able to have that similar mindset and being able to share our successes and struggles, it's huge, is having that support network.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's big too. I know being on the same level with the right people that you need to communicate, like for us here doing the wife and husband teams, but I also feel one of our best moves that we did last October in coming over to EXP is we were able to get acclimated with so many others throughout the nation, that are successful in their markets and how they do it. Last 2 weeks ago, we had Veronica Figueroa, who is also a husband and wife, but they do it completely different. He handles the lending side of things. She handles the real estate side of things, but that's how they were able to make it work, and I think it's phenomenal to be able to pick up on what works, what doesn't work. And, now I just picked up my game. I'll be at the brewery a little later today,
Anyways, Deanna.
I know. I agree with you. I mean, with our previous brokerage, we were able, we were really pushed in our business, but there was this formula. Here's the formula. You're the round peg in the round hole. You're great, but if you're the square peg in the round hole, we don't know what to do with you. And when we came over here, we met so many different, unique, very successful brokers that, like you said, they're making it very successful in doing it their own way. And you can learn and be able to bounce off of, how they're doing the same type of work, how they're facing the different challenges, and realize there's just not one formula. And that was real important for us to learn too.
Yeah, that is. So when, say for instance, you guys call it a day, you guys go home, how do you fit your family, your husband, from work?
Well, I'm going to have to be the one to confess. I can't turn it off. And that was, I think, other than getting you to realize this is your business too, my biggest shortfall is not being able to turn off. I think I was working until 11:30 last night.
Yeah.
And I just kept plowing, and honey's on the couch going, okay, honey. So every once in a while, I do have to get kind of a, kick in the backside of it's time to turn off. It's time to take a break.
Well, what I'll do is I won't give her the charger cord for her phone, and take her to the winery, and we'll have dinner and a couple glasses of wine, and then come home, and I'll be like, nope,
turn it off.
nothing. Nobody's gonna die if you don't look at your email.
Yeah. So yeah, we have to do that. We try to do that.
What'd you say, Jackie?
After hours too. So I was like you, Deanna, I couldn't turn it off. It was just like going and going and going until, we put it on the whiteboard. We told each other, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's funny because I remember I told you at one of the Bolts in Keller Williams when we drove down there as a team, and Chris McInerney or something, I don't remember his last name, was the Bolt coach there. And there he changed our lives because he taught us how to use the whiteboard and a calendar board and write out what you guys are going to do during the day, your time schedule, and when it's time for family and husband, and when to date and things like that.
Well, I think we were a lot better at it before COVID.
Yeah.
Because we could literally leave the house and turn off. So we had to make some changes, but we did. We actually I would have to say it was our grandkids that called us out more than anybody.
Yeah, we had 2 grandkids, and they're like, you got a pool, and we haven't seen you, and we only live a mile away. What up?
So they're back at the house and swimming and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So what we did is we block off we block off Saturdays at noon. I mean, we might do an appointment in the morning, or a lockbox or a sign, or Derek will do it for us. Now that Derek's up and running with us, our middle son, he'll do a lot of that. He'll go show homes on the weekend and things of that nature. But we'll block off at noon, 1 o'clock. We go to the pool, and she leaves her phone at the house. I have mine, because if anybody needs to get a hold of us family-wise or important-wise, they can get a hold of us. And we block out 6 hours. We'll check email maybe about 5 or 6 before we eat dinner. But we typically every Saturday afternoon we're by the pool or we're at the farmer's market with the grandkids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I like that. It's just broken up, time blocking, and there's a time for everything in it. Right. So you had mentioned that your son is now in your team.
Yep.
Really?
He's been about 2 months.
Congratulations.
Little history of him. He was an MCA for Keller Williams here in Santa Fe, then went to Chicago. Chose to come back. Fortunately, he came back a month before COVID hit, or his life would have been really miserable in Chicago. And started working for us as our assistant. Took a phenomenal opportunity to go back home to California to work real estate, but be close to grandkids, be near the grandbabies, because family.
Our old assistant,
Our old assistant. And he started doing some of the office stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I think I like this. I'm going to get my license." And he got his license in 6 weeks, and he's been full up since end of May.
Yeah,
end of May.
That's awesome. Super amazing. So your team has actually grown, Deanna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Two. We got Derek, we got Lauren, and then we're bringing on a third person. So we already had Steve. So yeah, we've grown. We've probably doubled the size of the team since we came on board.
And we've hired 3 new people during COVID.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do you think it was an easy process to bring on somebody during COVID, where a lot of people were scared and trying to minimize their, I don't want to call it an overhead, but just in their head count, just to be on the safe side, and I kind of set up people to,
we redeployed our overhead.
Yeah, we redeployed our overhead. We did a deep dive slash last fall into our budget based on some of the feedback we got from coaching. And then when I think it was the second week of March, they're like, "Okay, you got to do even a bigger cut." So with the distribution of the roles, plus, a lot of it's about relationships, and just going back and looking at the relationships. And I mean, we're like, we know where the business come, but it was just coming so fast for us that we couldn't. I mean, we had 12 and pending at one time, and trying to manage, and they were all closing within 11 days of each other.
So and that we just realized that we needed to make the investment, and we found another EXP and Kevin and Fred. Kevin and Fred, our sponsors, introduced us to a really talented young man who has a VA placement company, and he got us hooked up with some of the most talented VAs I've ever had. And they're starting to really change our business. And as we just brought a new one on last week, and so it'll help. It also help us mitigate some of the costs. And then, of course, taking our son off of payroll and putting him on commission, that helped.
Get him on payroll, put him on commission, close those deals.
Yes.
And I mean, one thing COVID, I mean, we did this prior to, and I know you guys are a great example of this as well, is maintaining those relationships with your clients, family, friends. Just checking in on them. We
kept the business going.
We had 3 or 4 pieces of business, and it wasn't intended to generate business. It was more of, "Hey, how are you doing during the quarantine, the lockdown? If you need anything." I mean, couple in town. One of our clients, who's a military bud, is now in DC. He's like, "Oh, what's the market doing?" Have a conversation. He's like, "Let's get it listed. My renters are leaving."
We just changed the way we did some lead generation.
Yeah.
So,
would you agree that COVID changed up some of our habits? I kind of feel like COVID changed Edgar and I to see things like way differently. Allowed us to really focus on the business, because what happened, Deanna, when we opened the office, remember?
Yeah.
Drove all the way over here from Albuquerque, and she helped do the grand opening with us. Well, that's when COVID hit. So so we closed the office because we were just so nervous to open it. So we had to stay home and work and stay in because we were just so scared of the office. But we still had to go out there and show, because that's when when everybody wanted to keep buying when the interest rates went down. But we were able to really navigate into the EXP, the world, how it's just so good, overwhelming. We picked some little points and found Nick Graham, who helped us with podcast and has pushed us and pushed us and pushed us. So what are some things that you guys kind of maybe you felt you were able to, change or not change? Well, how can I
Really
say
just adapt it to your new business. How did
with
you?
EXP?
Really, obviously we had the world and we were able to stay connected with other brokers and figure out how they were facing all these challenges. But between the world and Zoom, I don't think some of our team, I think, has only been in to the office 3 or 4 times since COVID started. I mean, we went pure virtual. We're on this live broadcast now, so I'm not currently up and running, but my entire admin staff is live Zoom 8 hours a day with me. And we're not even co-located, but it's as if we're in the same office, problem solving together. So that works out really well. So we were able to implement that technology really quickly. And then we were also able to, I actually, did some guest passes with some of our vendors, got to get them into into Verabella and into the world. So that was kind of a nice tool for us. But really, I think what it did is it took away a lot of the noise of things and activities that distracted us and made us laser focused. I think my biggest heartbreak this year has been losing all of my client events. We do quarterly, very large quarterly events. In fact, last weekend was supposed to be our big green chili roast with 200 people. And it was kind of like, we miss them. We miss our folks. So that's been our I think my biggest regret is losing that part of our business. And that's really our weak spot right now, is trying to figure out how do we replace that? How do we have that relationship with everybody other than, we just started calling and talking to all of them. And that we got better about that. We didn't just rely on those quarterly, big parties to stay in touch.
Yeah, I really like that. And how do you keep your guys' team going and motivated the same way? Guys, keep on lead generating, keep on the CRM. How do you hold them accountable and motivated?
That's kind of my job. The ops side, in addition to, the ops and the contract to close, I do run our entire marketing platform and our lead generation platform and also our lead follow-up platform. I have one dedicated virtual assistant who handles all the social media. We work with a really rock solid marketing platform that, we have leads coming in daily off of it and off of Facebook. And just, we set up the systems to where we know when people are calling, are they following up? What's their conversion rate? We just check in with them every Monday and kind of see where they are and what help that they need. And it's not for lack of opportunity. There's plenty that my job is to make sure that pipeline is full for everybody.
Yeah, that's how I see it too, is that it's full and there's enough business for everybody. It's just knowing how to get it, that push. Anything else, Edgar? Oh my God, we're just so glad you guys are here.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for sharing. Because I think a lot of, and there's a lot of teams that grow up that are growing here in El Paso, and they want to also do the husband and wife thing and learning how to find ways to keep all their team members also excited and working during these tough times. Although right now, I could say COVID has opened up not so much COVID, but just the repercussions of it, I guess, right? Low interest rates, a lot of buyers wanting to buy. Mm-hmm. Slowly but surely, we're getting sellers wanting to sell now, which is amazing because I think it's the best time for them to put their house on the market. So if you're listening, it is the time. But,
it is the time.
So thank you. Because it really does, because it's one thing to hear it. It's happening here in El Paso, and it's also a good thing to know that it's happening, in our neighbors here in New Mexico, all the way up to Albuquerque. That's, a really good thing. I'm excited for you guys. Also wanted to congratulate you guys as a icon again, and I say again because that's
Deanna again, second time.
Yep, second time. So
Deanna and Eric. Woo.
Yep, and so same with you. And then one of our other team members that came in with our rev share group, Tara Diaz. She also iconed her first time. So it's nice to see that because we've only had, I think for the longest time, only 2 icons in the state. And then we added 2 more last year, me and Ron Hensley. And then with you being part of the state, you ended up being one of them, and then now Tara. So we're growing. The state's growing. We had a really large independent brokerage come on board with EXP in New Mexico recently. And so that was a nice change. I think that was like grew us by 50 agents in one fell swoop. And since we were only about 120 or 140 at the time, that was a significant jump for the state of New Mexico.
Well, and you can see the success of EXP in New Mexico. But, if you want to see the success, from a monetary standpoint, just take a look at our stock price right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of got me like, Edgar, we should have bought more.
Oh yeah.
And that's really more of a reflection of where the company for today. And a lot of brokers, other brokerages are spending so much time just trying to catch up and be able to respond to the changes in technology, the need for technology. And, and that's what COVID brought to bear on us, is like, how flexible are we? How responsive and reactive can we be when things change so drastically? And honestly, we were ready. It was like we didn't even have to flip a switch. We were there. We were ready. It was easy. I mean, heck, we moved our convention in a couple of weeks to virtual.
Yep.
But other companies couldn't do that. So it's and now all of the naysayers who said, who wants to be virtual? Guess what? Everybody's having to join us on our turf, and so that's been cool to watch.
I kind of feel, no, I do feel, and maybe you can agree, is when we signed at the EXP Con, I didn't know anything about getting virtually. I would never have imagined myself being on something like this. I can speak really good, but I get in front of people, like all nervous, right? But what I love so much is that, and I hate to keep on saying it, right? But I'm going to keep on saying it because I love it, is that EXP has pushed me and Edgar to the fullest. You got to take the risk. You got to love it. You got to explore. And with you guys not being there on that very phone call that I spoke to Eric, I don't think we would have been here at all. Yeah. Just kind of destined to speak to Eric during that time. You guys were at Keller Williams. You moved over. I was with Keller Williams for 5 years. And I was with a small boutique brokerage after that. But in a heartbeat, I moved over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it was... I know I had an opportunity years ago to make the move, and I just wasn't ready. I'm kicking myself so much right now that I didn't do it, 6 years ago when I had the chance. But, I wasn't ready. I wasn't at the right point in the growth cycle of my business and my business mindset. And I think everything happens for a reason. We are at the right company for the season. And I think that's why we're all still doing well. I mean, a lot of folks, I don't think I could have survived this. So, my 3 quarantines, that was fun this year. Three, for different reasons. Yes. I couldn't have run a business at my other brokerage had I been faced with that same hurdle. And our business didn't slip at all. So I think we made the good choice. We've got the right partner right here. And that makes all the difference in the world.
and I think the other key thing, and this is, I always tell Jack, the biggest thing that I've gone with EXP is, and I remember this very, very clearly, Eric, when we first talked, was we're really business partners, and we are partners, but it's big, right? Because a lot of people can say that, hey, I got some people that I can refer you to out here, and we all have those connections, through different sources. But it's amazing, and when I say about being a true business partner, you can sit here and be like, look, here's my P&L. This is how it looks. This is how yours should look, or at least try to follow. And that's one thing that we found with all EXP people all across the board, is they're all willing to share that extra bit. And it's new. I mean, because no one does that. I mean, I just like from obviously here in El Paso, because that's what we know. But when we talk to certain people, they're like, I'm not sharing. This is my little token, and it's fine. But one thing that I've really, truly been able to enjoy here with EXP is that I can call the phone, and I remember it was just a simple phone call. It was like, "Hey, Eric, how are you and Deanna doing out there, man? I know it's crazy right now. What's the market look like?" And he goes, "You know what, Edgar? You know what? I tell you what I've been doing right now is just calling people and finding out how they're doing and how are you doing." And it's genuine, and it sounds funny, but it's amazing the results that you can get just by asking a very sincere question to people and actually
you get
helping
the
them.
answer.
Yeah, and true. And, you know, I think also you get the real answer. I think I used to reach out to people, you know, because you know, my dad used to always tell me, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so he'd always tell me, go find another room, you're in the wrong place. And this is one of those places where I definitely can find the room where I'm not the smartest. Everybody's willing to share. But what's even better is they're not putting on a mask. They're like, this is what I do, and this is what I'm terrible at. And this is why. Or, you know, I'm going to show this to you, but I don't have it figured out. And they feel comfortable to be completely honest where they are in their business. And it's not about show. It's not about putting on airs. It's like, yeah, I really rock at this. I really stink at this. And then we all start talking like, well, have you thought about that? And we just share. And I think part of it is just we also found the right people to be around that I want to see you rock it, and I want to see you knock it out of the park just as much as you want to see that happen for us. I mean, heck, if you guys had called me up and told me, hey, we need help down here, we would have looked at our schedule, we would have shifted around, and I would have risked another quarantine for you. You know, it's just what we would have done. And it's nice to have that.
Well, and I think that, you know, I mean, you experienced that day one with Andrew. I'll get a text message from one of our partners, in other words, either from you, Edgar, or Jackie. Hey, how are you doing, and how can I support your business this week?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that happen?
You
know, it happens at EXP.
Yeah. I kind of want to be like that for my community too, even though, you know, there's some agents out there that reach out from different brokerages and sometimes have questions, or, you know, they need guidance. And like I always tell Edgar and him as well, as, you know, we share. I mean, right now, you know, you're good at where the brokerage you're at now, but I'm more than happy to share what I have. Because with, you know, other people, I just think, you know, you have that canvas to feed off of. It helps you develop and grow. And that's a problem that me and him had at the previous brokerage that we were at. We were super happy. We just didn't know how to grow, or what I was supposed to do for Edgar, what he was supposed to do for me. We were just lost completely. So, I mean, since then, we're going on a year next month. October's our 1 year anniversary. Yeah, joining with you guys. So and we have done amazing things, and now we have a P&L.
Oh my gosh, really?
And I followed your P&L. It's probably your P&L with more, you know, added expenses in there, but I wouldn't have that if you hadn't shared that with me. So thank you for that. And what else do we have? I'm just super happy that you guys were here with us.
For sure. And again, just to say, you know, a simple thank you, because I know this takes time out of your guys' schedule to get out here. But I know that it's not something that you guys are ever afraid to give that helping hand. And I'm hoping that we were able to connect with some of our viewers today so that they can truly see that, you know, some of the same questions that we had, you guys had, and I'm sure they're having starting their business. And it's, you know, there's some challenges, right? Working with your significant other, because you want to do well. You don't want to let each other down. But I think you guys hit it right on the nail by saying you got to find out what your strengths are, who does what better, or just does the things that they're supposed to be doing. And not only that, but also being able to truly find those cool partners that have the same level of, you know, inspiring for bigger and better things. So for me and Jackie, definitely is thank you guys. Because I mean that I'm super happy we had that referral. I'll be honest with you. Super happy that we had that referral that Jackie led, and somehow, you know, she connected with Eric, and then like in Eric's words, we started that conversation, and we're so blessed and grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then we appreciate you guys, and you know, if any of your viewers are out there want to talk either to you guys or us, we're always available to have a conversation, and it even outside of our EXP, We have those. Deanna has those conversations more than I do, but Deanna has those conversations 4 or 5 times a week with people or other agents across the transaction.
Even other vendors.
And other vendors.
Husband and wife lenders. That's a fun combo.
Yeah, just people out in general. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be, for whatever it is, whatever business they are in together. I feel we kind of have insight for them. So even if you want to touch on that, we are here for you. We can refer you to Eric and Deanna. They're super amazing. And we all answer pretty quickly too. So
Absolutely.
We try.
Yeah, well, you're there all the time. Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
They let me out every once in a while. So
Yeah, we'll meet up after this whole COVID thing. We're only 3.5 hours apart.
I was going to say, I know you mentioned the biggest regret that we had was, it all started off with us not being able to go to for the next level agent conference.
We missed that with Fred and Kevin.
Along with so many others that we were looking forward to.
Groves conference, everybody's every.
And just because you learn so much, you know what I mean? And so we're looking forward to those. Hopefully vaccines and stuff come into the picture and get rid of all this craziness and madness. But thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you guys spending, we're going on 46 minutes. That's awesome. We had a lot of good stuff.
Seems like 5, but we truly appreciate your friendship. Love you guys, and it's amazing to be in business with you, and I mean that seriously, in business with you.
Thank you guys so much. Okay, we'll see you soon in that convention.
Awesome.
Bye.